Hi my dear students, last class we completed about nature vegetation. Now we are going to study about water resources. Already India is a land of rich nature resources. Already we studied two nature resources, soil and nature vegetation. Now we are going to study about third nature resource, that is water resources. We know India is the land of rich nature resources, water being one of the most vital of all. India is being essentially an agriculture country. We need water for agriculture as well as industry. And demand for water is increasing rapidly with the increase in population, whereas the supply of water remains the same. We know already 70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, but fresh water only about 3% of total water. A very small proportion of fresh water is effectively available for human use. That also different from place to place and time to time. And water disputes are common nowadays between states and regions and communities. So this conservation and management of water is very important. Okay, now water resource of India. We know already 2.45% of world's surface area, 4% of the world's water resources, and about 16% of world's population. The total water available from precipitation in the country in a year is about 4,000 cubic kilometers. The availability of surface water and groundwater is 1,869 cubic kilometers. Out of this, only 60% can be put to beneficial use. So, total utilizable water resource in the country is only 1,122 cubic kilometers. The main source of water are mainly two: surface water and groundwater. What is it? Surface water and groundwater. What is meant by the surface water? Water that is on the earth's surface, such as streams, rivers, lakes, reservoirs, etc., is known as surface water resources. Okay, water that is on the earth's surface, such as streams, rivers, lakes, reservoirs, etc., is known as surface water resource. There are four major surface water resources. These are rivers, lakes, ponds, tanks. In the country, there are about 10,360 rivers and the tributaries longer than 1.6 kilometers each. However, due to topographical structure and hydrological reason, only 690 cubic kilometers of available surface water can be utilized. Okay, so surface water means water is on the earth's surface, such as streams, rivers, lakes, reservoirs, is known as surface water. Secondly, groundwater resources. What is meant by this groundwater resources? Water beneath the surface of earth which saturate the pores and fractures of sand, gravel and rock formation. That water only called underground water or groundwater resource. Water beneath of the surface of the earth which saturated the pores, fractures of sand, gravel and rock formation. So the total groundwater resource in the country are about 432 cubic meter. Ganga Brahmaputra basin have about 46%. The level of groundwater utilization also very high. Northwestern region and some parts of South India. Groundwater utilization is very high in some of the states like Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu. At the same time, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Kerala and all utilize only small proportion. States like Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Tripura and Maharashtra are utilizing in a moderate rate. Now, irrigation means what? What is this irrigation? Water, we know already, water is an important input for agriculture, successful agriculture. It is one of the important input for successful agriculture. So here, irrigation means what? The process of supplying water to crops by artificial means such as canals, wells, tube wells, tanks, etc. from the surface of water, from the source of water such as rivers, tanks, ponds, or underground water, that is called irrigation. Okay, listen again. What is irrigation? The process of supplying water to crops by artificial measure such as canals, wells, tube wells, lakes from the existing natural source of water like rivers, tanks, ponds or underground water. That is called water irrigation. Okay. So, importance of irrigation. What is the importance of irrigation? Here we know already in our country, major part of our country means India is an agriculture country. So where the 1/3, 2/3 of its total population depends on agriculture production. So in order to increase this agriculture production, we have to improve our irrigation resource. That we know already. Okay, basically an agriculture country where nearly 2/3 of its population depends on agriculture production. So to increase this agriculture production, we have to improve our irrigation resources. So what is the importance of irrigation in India? Essentially, an agriculture country, more than half of the total area comes under arable land. Country has very long, almost spanning entire year growing season. The water for the crops is ensured. This water is the only means through which full potential of the agriculture sector can be realized. Although water is natural resources, it is not available throughout the year. Hence, efficient use of available water resource is the only key to successful agriculture development of India. So, first of all, cultivation of crops depend on availability of water. Water dissolves minerals and other nutrients in the ground. The roots of the plant draw their nutrients water from the soil. It is must for commercialization of agriculture, and irrigation also play an important role in the success of green revolution in India, and many regions like Punjab, Haryana became leading producer of rice because of irrigation. Many crops are grown in Rajasthan and other arid region of India because of irrigation. So irrigation is compulsory, needed in our country for agriculture development. Okay. Now, need for irrigation. Why there is a need for irrigation? Okay. What is the necessity of irrigation at all? So, we know already India experience a tropical monsoon type of climate. We learned India experience a tropical monsoon type of climate. So, here the need for irrigation in India arises from the following reasons. First of all, variability in rainfall. Rainfall in India is very uncertain. We cannot predict which time it is available or not. We cannot predict at all, which increase the element of risk and makes crop production rather difficult. Normal rainfall is marked by its wide fluctuations of different parts, as also variation from season to season and year to year in its quantity, incidence and duration. This uncertainty compels irrigation facility to be provided. Okay. So our country, we experience a tropical monsoon type of climate which is unfortunately erratic, unreliable, irregular, uncertain and unevenly distributed. We cannot predict, we cannot totally depend, it is not regular at all, and this variation of Indian climate make irrigation indispensable for a sustained agriculture development. Okay, uneven and uncertain distribution of rainfall, and it is not at all equal in all over the places. Another thing, unequal distribution of rainfall in most part of our country. 80% of rainfall is received from June to September from the southwest monsoon. Some places like Saurashtra, Kutch region of Gujarat, western half of Rajasthan and parts of Punjab and Haryana are in the arid zone where there is constant deficiency of water. So conditions very close to aridity prevail in rain shadow tract along the river side of western Ghats. So the next inadequacy of rainfall in these areas has to be made good by irrigation at all. So unequal distribution of rainfall, that is the second reason for the need for irrigation. Okay. Next, thirdly, to meet crop requirement and soil needs. Different crops require different quantity of water supply. For example, crops such as rice, sugarcane, jute, cotton, chilies, etc. and all need more water and more irrigation also. Even in areas of heavy rainfall also it need more irrigation. At the same time, sandy soil require frequent water supply than the alluvial or a black soil. So some of the crops need more requirement of water to meet crop requirement and soil needs. Some of the crops need more water than other crops at all. Then fourth point, to maximum production. To get high yield and maximum production from land and to facilitate double and triple cropping, irrigation is the must thing. Then need for irrigation. Fourth point, to maximize production. To get high yield and maximum production from land and to facilitate double and triple cropping, irrigation is a must at all. Okay. Then fifth point, to get efficient use of utilizable flow. Many of the Indian rivers are not perennial. Perennial means what? Throughout the year water is there, means that river we call what? Perennial rivers. Himalayan rivers are called perennial rivers because throughout the whole year water will be there in Himalayan rivers. And they carry insignificant flow during the Rabi season. There is also wide disparity in the water flow from year to year. Lot of difference also we can see from the flow of water from year to year. The characteristic of central and southern rivers is about 80% to 90% of the annual runoff take place during 4 months of monsoon rains. The rivers are largely dry during 8 months of the year. So therefore, to make up this sizable portion of the average, we need water to get irrigation is compulsory. Next, last point, the supplement supply even in good rainfall areas. In good rainfall areas, irrigation is required mostly as a supplement need to protect single crop agriculture against occasional drought. Okay, to supplement supply even in good rainfall areas. That means the areas getting good rainfall also. Extra water we have to supply means irrigation is necessary at all. That means occasionally any drought occurred means to provide extra water means for that we should maintain irrigation facilities at all. Okay, now what are the means of irrigation? Different sources of irrigation are used in India depending upon our topography. Different sources of irrigation are there according to our topography. Soil, rainfall, availability of groundwater, nature of rivers and requirement of crops. So mainly the main source of irrigation is used in different parts of the country: well and tube well irrigation, canal irrigation, tank irrigation. And also there are also two methods are the primitive method irrigation and the modern method of irrigation. Primitive method of irrigation means what? Wells, tanks and inundation canal using only primitive method of irrigation, and they can be used to irrigate only small areas, and they don't need any modern machines to build or operate at all. But modern method of irrigation means drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation. All these are called what? A modern method of irrigation. Drip irrigation or a sprinkler irrigation, they can be used to irrigate large area and they need modern machinery to build or operate at all. Okay, so these are the points we studied today. Okay, thank you.